This is Jean-Claude Lafont reporting from downtown Toronto at Dundas Square for the 420 Worldwide Marijuana Rally.
Let's have more smoke than a rap concert, a Lady Gaga show.
Cannabis, weed, pot, marijuana, kush, whatever you call it, it's been the most controversial plant probably in the history of the world. A plant. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, a plant. A plant that does not kill anyone, like the castor seeds that produces ricin, the poison found on the letters during the bombing incident at the Boston Marathon. So what's the controversy? Well, perhaps it's not about smoking weed, but maybe it's because the marijuana plant could easily take over certain industries in textile, fabric, plastics, wood, rope, bags, biodiesel fuel, food supplements, powerful medicine, and a whole lot of other things that this miracle plant can do. Some cultures believe that the marijuana plant is considered to be the tree of life, as mentioned from the Bible. A plant that has so many miracle properties, and at one time in our history, the marijuana plant was grown in abundance here in Canada and the United States for producing canvas, oil, navy rope, gerbil bags, and so many other unlimited products. Today, we give way to the point that this plant is all for hippie, pot-smoking, lazy people. But the fact remains that these lazy people who smoke pot actually are hard Canadian workers. Yes, we make fun of them. Hey dude, you have some weed? Making pot users sound like dumbasses who have nothing better to do than stay home all day smoking weed and eating chips. But in actuality, the amount of pot smokers that are thriving and working citizens is overwhelming. April 20th is known as 420 to potheads around the globe, and it is a day of celebration of the incredible cannabis plant. The genesis of this high holiday was in the mid-90s when activists working for the Prince of Pot, Mark Emery, held a small protest across the street from Cannabis Culture headquarters in Vancouver. The event has now grown to include over 60 cities in Canada, the US, the UK, the Netherlands, New Zealand, and other countries. Ask yourself if the following pothead interviews are really just dumb people who smoke pot all day, eating chips and keeping the munchie industries alive and well. You be the judge. Check it out.
Hey Matt, it's Jean-Claude from DDP. So this event, the marijuana rally, this is worldwide obviously, so you're the organizer for this. How's it going so far?
It's an unbelievable day. I'm shocked by the number of people that have come out to brave the cold to protest the unjust marijuana laws. I mean, I'm shivering and people are just like having a great time, and it's unbelievable this many people will come out to say, hey, I want marijuana legalized.
Now, what's the main reason for people wanting the marijuana legalized? Is it just for fun, or is it just mostly like for medical, or is it just, there must be a variety of reasons, but what's the major one, you think?
Well, I wouldn't want to speak for, I mean, even with our own group, I use for medical reasons, my friends use for recreational reasons, but to say that there's any one model, I think they all want to be able to buy marijuana from a source that is private business where they can buy many strains all at once. I think the medical people want marijuana that's affordable for them. Yeah. So there's many issues to still be resolved. The biggest issue, though, we have to knock down marijuana prohibition before we can even get to these other issues. Yeah.
Now, also, marijuana is also like the hemp plant itself also has a lot of properties. Do you think that's the reason why there was a reefer madness in the 50s, you know, because of the properties of hemp itself that was invading some other industry, like we won't say chemical company, which chemical company, but do you think that's probably the reason why there was prohibition in Canada?
100%. Prohibition is not just based on the hemp, but it's also based on racism. Racism of moving, harder drugs such as opium was against Asians. And so there's a lot of rooted racism when it comes to drugs. And when it comes to marijuana, of course, there's the hemp aspect that, yes, there could be, a more affordable way of growing paper, so to speak. And as I say, it's also racism. So both of those.
Yeah. So you're aware of Jack Herer as well, eh? Our hero in history of marijuana. He stated one time that marijuana can save the world. Do you would believe that at all, or?
Sure. I mean, why wouldn't it? If you plant marijuana, which is a weed, it will grow anywhere. It can even grow in, say, the nuclear fallout soil of Kiev, which, right? It can all those wastelands that we have, Chernobyl I meant to say. So if you have the Chernobyl waste, the Fukushima waste, through growing hemp, you can actually cleanse the soil again, because the hemp plant's just a weed.
Wow. So it really can do that. I had no idea. What an interesting thing. So the rally today is a big success, and it's a big success worldwide, I hear, so far, isn't it?
Amazing. We have 31 Canadian cities here protesting the marijuana laws. It's the largest number of cities ever protesting the marijuana laws in Canada because Bob Erb won the lottery. I mean, he won $25 million from the BC lottery, and they asked what he was going to do, and he said he was going to legalize marijuana. He generously gave our rally $15,000 this year, and without that type of funding, we wouldn't have a sound system, we wouldn't have the booths, we wouldn't have any of this today. So this is unbelievable.
Now, one last question, because your critics may say, well, you know, marijuana is a gateway drug. Is there any statistics to prove that at all, or is that just a bunch of crap, really? What do you think?
There's no statistics to back up that idea. But, I mean, a legal market where young people are carded, therefore they wouldn't have access to marijuana, is what I'm striving for. A 19 plus, you know, an alcohol-based system where, you know, you get carded. Your dealer doesn't card your children, and that's an issue. Basically the CCBO, they would card people. So that to me is an important issue.
And including the millions of dollars of taxpayers' money, that with revenue, I should say, tax revenue that we could be gaining from marijuana sales, true, in Canada. Wouldn't that be an aspect of why we should legalize it too? 100%.
Fix the deficit, legalize marijuana, billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Matt, and great success. Thank you for organizing this today in the city of Great Toronto.
Within the 420 community, I'm known as Chronic Dad because I have 2 kids who are also within the medical marijuana program here in Canada.
Wow. So this issue is quite personal for you then, eh?
Well, the medical side of cannabis use is certainly, yeah. I'm actually one of the externalized costs of the cell phone industry. I was hit by a cell phone wielding driver and suffered some orthopedic and brain damage. So yeah, it was very helpful for me in overcoming nausea and a whole host of other symptoms. So, you know, it works out. You find that there's nothing to be afraid of. And then when my daughter came down with fibromyalgia again, having been struck by an errant driver, she found that it helped ease her neuropathic pain. So she takes something called Lyrica, which sets her back $150 a month. And because I have a license to grow my own marijuana under the Canadian program, I'm able to take care of hers and my own needs. Yeah.
And so it's medically obviously, I agree with you as well, because I've been through chemical therapy, and having marijuana was actually very instrumental in you know, treatment and keeping me you know, functional again. So for yourself, this is a very personal issue. And so do you, as a parent, what wisdom do you have to other parents out there who claim that this drug is a gateway drug and that it's, you know, like they're still stuck with the reefer madness videos from the 50s, I guess?
I'd be far more concerned about kids drinking and driving. Alcohol takes away people's sense of judgment. Marijuana doesn't. And that's something that very few parents appreciate. Kids who use a little bit of pot, they don't go breaking things, crashing cars, taking 20-foot dives into lakes where they don't know what's under the surface late at night. You know, there's so many costs associated with alcohol use, particularly with teens. I'd way rather have my kids using pot judiciously on social occasions than alcohol. Yeah.
Now, so the legalization of marijuana, the importance of it too, as a parent, you probably would assume that it's going to be controlled as well, like alcohol. Would that be a safety factor for legalizing marijuana too?
Well, at present, the government is intent upon taking away the personal production licenses of patients like myself, and they're quoting a lot of potential risks of domestic production of marijuana to justify this move. Now, we haven't seen any backup to the assertions made by police, court officials, and so forth that this is a danger. We feel that we're looking after our own business in a fairly responsible manner, and in the new scheme of things, I think there's a lot of BS being used to justify the government taking over the control of marijuana production, putting it in the hands of a few hand-picked producers, probably supporters of the regime in power, and then taxing it. Now, if it's truly medicine, why are they currently taxing marijuana sold at compassion clubs? So really, I'm seeing the whole government involvement in this program, or the increasing government involvement, as being a cash grab, as opposed to being any kind of concern with the well-being of patients.
You know Jack Herer, eh? One of the marijuana experts from the past, who wrote the book The Emperor Has No Clothes. Now, when we talk about hemp, he stated that hemp can actually save the world. Would you agree with that, based upon your information of what you know about hemp and marijuana?
It sounds like the sort of statement that's made in the euphoria of a post-medicated state, but hemp has a lot of uses, which it's not filling because of the prohibition in general, and you need economies of scale to be able to justify, say, the milling of hemp fiber. So at present, all of the hemp production is really in Asia. If you read The Emperor Has No Clothes, there's a great story about a German inventor who came up with a machine to process hemp, remove the pulp from which newsprint could be made, and it would then leave fiber as a byproduct from which clothing and textiles and so forth could be made. And if we did see the large-scale farming of hemp, this sort of processing could be possible again in North America.
Yeah.
But you need more people who are interested in wearing hemp clothes.
But I heard you can even create marijuana diesel fuel from the marijuana plant.
Yeah, you can make biodiesel, and apparently it is a mild marijuana smell to it.
Oh, really? Really? Okay, yeah. Joanne, Grandma Peaches, this is the marijuana rally in Toronto. This is worldwide, obviously. So why are you participating today?
Well, first of all, I'm a medical smoker as well. I'm here on behalf of Treating Yourself as well as my own, and I'm promoting at the moment the Treat Yourself Expo coming up next month on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of May. We will have at the Metro Convention Center, the North Building, probably Hall A. There will be approximately 150 vendors from everything from doctors to lawyers to people, other compassion clubs, people that are growers, seed retailers, nutrient retailers. There will also be a glass blowing contest. On the first 2 days of the expo, they do their glass blowing. There's 3 teams competing this year. We have Canada, Japan, and America competing in the glass blowing competition this year. And on the Sunday, after their 2 days of blowing their wares, they will be judged, and a prize will be given out, awarded. They'll also get written up in the Glass magazine, Glass Culture magazine, as well as the Treating Yourself Expo magazine. And that's the Treating Yourself Expo in Toronto, North Convention Center, North Building, on the long weekend, after the long weekend in May.
Awesome. So, so this event that we're doing today, obviously the legalization of marijuana is important. And why is it important to you personally?
Well, because I'm a medical user. I'm allergic to aspirin, and it takes the place of aspirin for me, which is a muscle relaxant, and I can't take anything, not any of the other so-called derivatives or the other stuff that's out there. Also, this is a natural plant, and it doesn't do me any harm. I can grow it myself, which doesn't cost me much money, and I'm really upset about them wanting to take my right away for doing that. So, like, this rally, is for legalizing marijuana. It's a real big thing because it's more than, in my opinion, it's like a miracle drug. It creates a whole new aspect of, reality for people, like when they live day to day with different problems, from stomach problems, eating disorders, nausea, chemotherapy patients really need it. Myself, like I say, works for me for pain, as well as, gives me an appetite. It, relaxes, it lets me get up and move around. Gives me also as an antidepressant, rather than taking antidepressants. I was on them for years. I stopped taking them after using medical marijuana, and I haven't been on them for over 5 years now. So it's a big difference.
It's a big difference. And medically too, like Jack Harris said that once in one of his documentaries, which is our, one of our marijuana experts in life. He said that marijuana can save the world because hemp has got many other properties. Would you believe that too as well? Or?
Oh yeah, I just saw an article about it being hempcrete, where they're actually building houses. Like making the concrete with hemp instead of whatever it is they use now, right? And we can produce it, and it's everything. Like I said, it's worldwide. It's problem solving for many aspects, and to me, like you say, it's a problem solver. Right? It truly is. I've heard that there is a young girl who has a rare form of leukemia that is being given Rick Simpson's hemp oil a few times a day, and it's actually helping to reverse this rare form of leukemia. So there's positive stuff out there. I've heard many things about prostate cancer, about reversing the effects of prostate cancer and how bad it's progressing. Instead of it progressing, it started to regress. And that was some study done in, I believe, Switzerland. So it's being used worldwide. It's time to get a global legalization. Like 420 forever.
That's right.
Right.
420, yeah. And you know what? One last thing before we go. The reefer madness from the 50s. You think it's done quite a bit of damage as far as our opinions about marijuana?
It's painted everybody with the same brush, and we can't do that because what you see in that movie is totally ridiculous. I can't say anything more. I laugh. I won't even watch it anymore. It's just beyond. I can't even fathom that anymore. Just beyond.
As an older person, because you look 50, are you 50 or are you 40? 53, good, awesome. Could you give the younger parents out there who are concerned about their children ever experimenting with marijuana, to say that, some people say that it's a gateway drug to other more serious drugs. Can you maybe give some sign of wisdom or, some advice to some of these young parents?
No, I don't believe it's a gateway drug. Smoking weed is smoking weed, and if we legalize it, and we're going to have a product that is going to be safe. So when these parents of today's children are finding that their kids are indulging, you'll be more happy to know that they're indulging in something that's been made safe by Health Canada, and this is what we're after. I don't believe a gateway drug. No, I've had my, I'm a mother of two. My two kids both smoke, but they know their limits and they know to respect the drug as well. It has its place. You don't go high to work. High is another thing. People using medically don't get high. We get relief from our problem, right? And that's what we want, right? So we want to make a happy people. And I'm getting tired standing here. I'm starting to feel pain.
So maybe you might have to smoke one there.
I do.
Well, thank you so much, Grandma Peaches. I appreciate your comments today, and good luck. And we'll see you at the next rally for sure. Well, I'll see you on May the 24th.
I'll be on the lines for the Global Marijuana March front and center. You can guarantee that.
Nice. Thank you.
Everybody get ready. This is what we're doing. Jeremy Packer, bring us in.